So we've had some epically long videos here in which have been really getting carried away at looking at all the features of Fusion 360 in the creation of this 3D LED illuminated text as it's going to be, and looking at some maths and some engineering and all these different things. But now finally we're going to look at the shelling, which I hope is going to work. And also I'm going to see if I can do a little modification to the sweep and see if the shelling can cope with the geometry that is created. So that's going to be very much experimental. Anyway, here we go. So remember here, what I'm trying to do is have big chunky text that I know the light is clearly going to shine through. And I really felt here that in Kevin Kennedy's fantastic tutorial that I'm basing all of this on, this text is far too skinny. In fact, I tried to do this kind of skinniness of text with my own experimentation, and I found it just wasn't working. So big chunky text I found is the way to go. Anyway, let's go ahead now and do the shell. So to confirm here, we've got the original sketch of the base work plane. Let's make our sketches visible. We've got the extrusion of the base. We've got the drawing of the text. We've got the creation of the path for the sweep. We've got the sweep being applied. And now what we're going to do is come to the shell tool. Okay, I want to shell, now here we go. I want to shell the entire body. We've got one body here, okay? This is one body. And let's look why it's one body next, because I've got two different features happening here. This body here, edit feature, this is a new body. So whenever you start a drawing, the first body you make needs to be a new body, okay? This feature here was joined to the first body. So it's joined onto the base. Notice here I could have this as a new body as well. Okay, and when I confirm this, nothing seems to have changed. But now what I've got are loads of bodies. I've got the first body being the base, and then I've got each of these letters, because they are separate parts. Each letter is a separate letter. It has the D. Oh no, where's the D? That's the D. Okay, bizarrely the D is the last one. There you go. That's something else happening that's a bit weird about Fusion 360 here. I've got the E as body 3, and then there's the N. It's like roulette, this, isn't it? Let's have a see. 5 is the G. Okay, that 7 must be the S. Okay, well, anyway. And this makes it far too complicated. There's lots of times when I might want to do this, but I want to keep it all as one body. So let's right click again on that feature, edit feature, and let's make sure I'm simply going to join the text to the base, which means I go back to one body. And now it's called body 2. I believe before it was called body 1 anyway. Let's actually let's do something about it. Let's name the body. So I've just basically clicked once and then clicked again, and I'm going to call this my 3D text. There you go. Okay, fantastic. Might not seem too important now, but if we had a very complicated model with multiple bodies and multiple components, then naming your components is really important. In fact, and your bodies and your sketches even. In fact, on this point, I haven't saved this yet. And the first thing that Kevin says in his video is do make sure you save it. So I'm not going to worry about saving it now. In fact, yes, I will. Let's save it now. Let's save this. I'm saving it into a location here called 3D text light. In fact, let's make sure that's clear. Let's go to the panel data here. And here I've got my project called 3D text light. If I go back to home, these are all my projects. And there is 3D text light. So that's what I want to save it to. Let's just go to save again, and I'm going to call this, well, my previous one was called 3D text light V3, so let's call this V4. Okay, if I can make sure that's not a capital. Good Lord, what am I doing? There we are, typos everywhere. Confirm, and now, there it is, cloud storage at its best. Okay, let's make that disappear. Okay, finally onto the mission. Let's shell. There's the shell tool. I'm going to click on the face where I want to make the opening into the shell. So I'm going to click on the base here, and I want to apply a thickness to this. So I am going to, now hang on a second, let me think about this. Is this going to work? If I put this to 1.5, confirm, what happens here? Now what has happened is it's simply shelled just the letters here. So this clearly is not working. So let me just think this one through. What have I got to do here? I'm going to undo that, okay? Or I could right click. Let's just make sure that's the case, yeah? That's definitely not worked. In fact, if I come to my wireframe view again, let's go to Visual Style. Let's come to wireframe with visible edges only. And I can see here that that is definitely, let's turn the sketches off. Ah, no, that has worked. That has shelled all the way through. I was thinking for a second it hadn't worked, but the reason why I thought it hadn't worked was because, hang on a second, let's make sure that's Visual Style with visible edges only, was because bizarrely, yeah, because I had these sketches selected, it's like this weird glowing water. But and again, it's interesting here how where the text appears, it's not quite representing the true size of the text. How interesting. Let's make sure the sketch disappears there. Yeah, that has worked. So there we are. That is cool. And I can see here that the shelling goes all the way through. And again, I can go back to the wireframe view if I want to just confirm that. That was cool, and it works straight away. Yippee. Okay. Right. Now, what was the thing I wanted to do? My last little thing. Can I do something funky with the text? I'm going to go I'm going to go back to my sweep tool here, go to edit feature. And in here, there is a twist angle. Now, what I want to do here, there's also a taper angle. What does this do? Let's play. I'm just going to dial in some small numbers here. Let's put 2 degrees here, tab it, and see what happens. Oh, that's funky. Look at what's happening there. Let's just put that a bit bigger. I can't go too big. Yeah, that's now failed. Okay, taper angle. It said here, error, too large. So that's why I'm putting in really, really small values. Didn't like that either. Let's try 2.5. Now let's go back to 2 again. Okay, it seems to be making the text bulge out. I can see it there with the N. Can you see how it's kind of bulging as it comes out there? I wonder if I can go to 2.2. No, 2.1. No, it looks like my first guess was the best I could do. How about I go -2? Oh, now it's going the other way. Now it's going from thick to skinny. Let's try -5. How does that look? Oh, yeah. Okay. That's really quite nice. I think if I go any further, it won't work because it's going to pull this right back. Let's go crazy. Let's try -10. Whoops. That's not going to work, is it? Because I've got -5, -10. What? -10. Thank you. Yeah, and that still doesn't like it. So clearly there's a limit there to how far we can push it. Okay. This now seems to have completely crashed out. So let's just escape this. Let's close all that. Okay. Let's just put that back to 0 and just try and recover this. And 0. Okay, you know what? At this point, I'm going to cancel. Okay, so if that happens to you, just cancel it. Let's go right click again on this. Let's go to edit feature, and let's just try that again. So I'm going to go with a -5. Yeah, that was working. Let's instead put that back to 0, and let's look with the twist angle. Again, I'm going to go for something very subtle, 2 degrees. And look, now it makes it so the text goes from small to big. Let's try 5. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm loving that. That's awesome. Let's try -5. Okay, and suddenly there, no, it's not liking that. So it looks like maybe if I go -2. Oh, I see, then it dips down in. Interesting. Okay, I like that 5. That was really cool. Let's confirm this, and let's just see if the shell updates. Now, here's the thing. It might take a few seconds here for everything to update, but hopefully, yep, there we are. It took a few seconds. Now the shell is now having a problem. Okay, so why is this the case? Let's just now come back to the shell feature here. Let's edit this feature and see what is going on. Again, it's just really starting to struggle here, okay? This is normal, not a problem. Let's just deselect the selection. Let's select that again. Selection is going to be the base. Yeah, and now it's just really, really struggling. I'm going to cancel this. In fact, what I'm going to do is delete it completely. Okay, let's try the shell again now. So create shell. I'm going to shell this bottom edge, and let's go back for that 1.5. Come on, select 1.5. Habit. Okay, again, I'm having to just pause here. Yeah, so basically it's starting to struggle now with the geometry. So let's come back to this feature again here. Let's just try and put that at 2 degrees, something a little bit more subtle. Okay, 2 degrees. Let's try and do the shell again now. Okay, 1.5 millimeter shelling. And again, this is going to start struggling. Oh, no, it hasn't. So that's great news. Okay, I'm really happy that worked there. Yeah, that looks brilliant. Okay, I'm wondering if I put that to 1, what's going to happen now? As I said at the start of this section of tutorials, I wouldn't take the thickness less than 1.5. But if I take it to 1, that's going to be really super thin text. So I'm going to stick with the base being 1.5. I think that's fair enough. But I'm going to go with 1. And I've got this slight kind of angle here, which I've done by modifying the sweep. That looks great. Okay, well, I'm going to confirm that now. And that basically is my model good to go. Is everything good there? Just paused again for a second. Try and sweep this round. Yes, it took a few seconds there to think to itself, but that is looking really brilliant. Okay, right. That is finally the end of these tutorials. So hopefully, that's been a useful kind of deep dive into Fusion 360. I'll look at some of the tools, some of the things we can do with the tools, thinking about dimensional control, controlling with construction lines and dimension lines, but also being able to use some maths to work out the engineering of this, etc. So voila, I look forward to seeing what you can do in 3D printing some awesome Z-Glass text LED lights.